agree with all your comments. Like I was emailing to one of my friends this morning. Like, the U.S. is out shooting Canada 9-0, up to nothing, totally in control of the game, totally. And you wonder what would have happened if they wouldn't have taken a penalty, which allowed Canada to get like a little bit of momentum. They got 5-6 shots on the power play, didn't score, but then they didn't get their first shot on goal 5-on-5, Hal, until the 12-minute mark of the first period.
Wow.
And then they scored off of a great face-off play, and then Canada was the better team in the last 8 minutes of the second period. But on balance, I think U.S. is a better team. I think we maybe, I think the biggest difference were two things. I think the forward groups were pretty well matched, pretty even. But if you had to take one group or the other, you'd probably take Canada just because of Bedard. But that's the reason. But I think the U.S. defense were a lot better. They're more mobile, puck moving, smaller. Canada had a lot of puck management issues on their back end, like a lot of turnovers coming out of the zone and through the neutral zone. And for sure, the goalie was the difference. So we're pretty fortunate we won. But it was a really, really entertaining game, and it's pretty sad that somebody couldn't televise it in the U.S. It was on the NHL network, but
you have to pay to be on. It's a couple $100 to subscribe to the NHL network, and if I wasn't coaching hockey and out sitting in hockey rinks, I might pay for it, but I don't even go to the Wild games. It's $1,000 a night by the time you get done.
Yeah.
And I'll go if it's free, but I won't drive down there to see them. Well, it's good. I did hear. What was the final? It was like 4-2 or something, or 5-2. 6-2. Wow.
Yeah, but it should have been. It should have been like maybe 7-6 for the U.S. at the end of the second, or 7-7. Honestly.
Really.
They missed 3 breakaways in the second. Canada hit the goalpost twice in the second. It was a freaking wild game. 2 goals called back by video for the U.S. at critical.
Really? That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, entertaining for those that get to see it. I was over the weekend. I was up in Warroad and in Roseau, Minnesota. The last time I was in Warroad, I was the North American host for the Soviet junior national team for the World Junior Tournament, which was being held here in Minneapolis and in Winnipeg. And they played some games in Duluth, I guess. And that's the last time I was up there. But it's, World Juniors is great. And hardly anybody in the United States knows anything about it.
Yeah. I wonder why ESPN, because ESPN and TSN are really closely linked. You wonder why ESPN wouldn't pick up at least the gold medal game, especially when the U.S. is in it. It's very interesting.
Well, when I looked at it I looked it up. It said ESPN something or another, and TSN, but TSN had the Wild game. They had 2 NHL games on. The Wild game didn't even start till 8:30 last night here against the Lightning. So I didn't stay up for a whole lot of that. So
that's interesting. Too bad. I mean, like I said, it was it's a hell of a game. Like really entertaining.
Peter, how are you doing? Get that speaker on.
How about now?
All right.
All right. Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good.
How was Christmas? How was the New Year?
It was really good. A lot of really great family time. Got together with my daughter. She's down in Pennsylvania, so a little ride down there. We did that. And Christmas Eve, we hang out. My son comes over with his family, and we started a tradition when they were little kids, reading the night before Christmas. And my grandson is now 5, so granddaughter 2. So we've got them hooked on that too. So it was good. It was really nice. How about you?
Well, I spent 2 days with a daughter and two daughters in a small community near the mountains where they bought a property, and uh, their families. We spent Christmas together, just a couple days. It was good. Um, and just at home alone, I went out last night to watch the hockey game with USA and Canada. I was invited with a retired teacher's friend family, and sat down, watched the game with them, and of course dissected the game to death. And it's really funny. Like I thought, gee, we could talk about that World Junior game, but nobody in the States and would have it or have seen it. And that's just amazing because from a developmental point of view, the U.S. is doing the right thing. We have a business model up here in Canada. Everybody plays with major junior teams. And so the best players from those teams, who are all first line players, they gather them for the championships, worlds, pick a team. And the thing that intrigued me the most, Tim, is uh, they just haven't got the chemistry of being able to play four lines. They're just disjointed. They're just about pure offense. And the USA has as many star players, but they're much more coordinated, cohesive in team play. And like Tim mentioned, their D moved the puck. They moved out of their zone better. And I thought offensively, their offensive zone puck control and behind the net offense, they generated, I don't know what the numbers were, but significant more scoring chances. So I'm just not sure. The mentality up here is that's all people watch. Like the rinks are sold out in Canada, and when they play World Juniors anyplace else, and I think when they were held in the States, they were sold out as well. But the audience here is certainly totally into it, and if none of you have watched it, it's hard to ask you about it. I guess developmentally, I'm trying to figure out where's the disconnect in terms of promoting the game there and getting it to be more popular than it is. Anybody, any of you U.S. guys got any ideas?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that even the NHL, so there's ESPN, right? And then they have ESPN Plus, which is, I guess, another part of their package. And ESPN Plus is where we go to watch the NHL games.
Yeah.
So that's not even on the quote unquote. All those games are not on the major networks. Some are on, and some are not. The other thing that drives me insane is the whole you're too close to New York to watch the Rangers play, even though I'm 2 hours away from New York. I'm too close, so I can never watch the Rangers games when they do broadcast them. And they're on pretty often, play some very good teams. But I'm surprised that there was nothing. It wasn't an option on ESPN Plus, because you can go on there and NHL wise, there might be 8 games that you could choose from to watch. So I'm not sure why they wouldn't put on the World Juniors, because there's so much hype and there's such a connection to the NHL with the draft picks and that kind of thing. So it's a puzzle for sure.